Hi, friends. My very first Kickstarter is live through November 8th, 2025 at noon, and I'd be honored if you visited. It supports my new book, Peace Stuff Enough, which features several of the architects of enough from this podcast series, and it's all about helping us keep our stuff longer and live a life of care over consumption. Just search Peace Stuff Kickstarter. Welcome to Pieces Here, the daily series exploring the architects of enough. Today we continue our theme, the social and systemic enough, by honoring Arundhati Roy. She wields language as a form of witness, holding power to account while reminding us how small things matter. Architect of Enough. Born in 1961 in Shillong, India, Arundhati Roy initially studied and worked in architecture, television, and film, even winning the National Film Award for Best Screenplay for her work on In Which Annie Gives It Those Ones, 1989. The film is a satirical, semi-autobiographical story about architecture students rebelling against rigid systems. I was a little curious about the title and found that it uses an Indian English colloquialism, gives it those ones, which refers to delivering an exaggerated or overly conceptual presentation, often used to bluff or impress judges in an academic setting. Her breakthrough in literature came with her debut novel, The God of Small Things, 1997, which won the prestigious Booker Prize and drew global attention not just to her prose, but to her unique perspective on life, memory, and society. Since then, Roy has become a vocal essayist and activist, writing sharp criticism on human rights, environmental justice, and globalization. She challenges what she terms the encrypted violence of modern development and the vulgar disparity of wealth. She lives in New Delhi and uses her voice as an architect of enough by insisting on speaking out against systemic injustice, even when it puts her at risk. Her work shows that true contentment and integrity often require us to reject the false peace of silence and bear witness to truth. For deeper insight, her collection, My Seditious Heart, gathers many of her most compelling essays on politics, environment, and dissent. The Enough Reflection. Speak small truths. Roy's work reminds us that large systems are built from many small acts. In a world of grand narratives, speaking a particular truth, even modestly, can pierce the silence. Today, find one small truth you can voice, perhaps in writing, conversation, or action, that aligns with your values and your capacity. Let that be your modest but steady act of peace. This tip reminds me of one of the peace tips from Peace Stuff Enough, the new companion book to One More Year. You can find it and follow the Kickstarter at avaskolfsbeck.com/Kickstarter. Pedro says, Arundhati Roy donated her entire Booker Prize money, along with the royalties from her nonfiction books on the subject, to the Save the Narmada movement. She views the large dams that her money opposed as a systemic weapon of mass destruction, and her donation was the ultimate simple act of resistance. Where have I remained silent when a small truth needed saying? If I choose one small truth today, not for acclaim, but for alignment, what might that be? Words to keep. One line by Roy that captures the essence of her political and personal philosophy is this call to presence and refusal. To love, to be loved, to never forget your own insignificance, to never get used to the unspeakable violence and the vulgar disparity of life around you. It is a call to witness, to humility, and to refusal to not look away. If this daily message has brought you peace, please take a moment to subscribe and share this message with someone who needs it. That was the life and wisdom of our architect of enough for this episode. If their story has inspired you to seek your own path to less consumption and more contentment, then please step off the treadmill with me. Let's learn from the architects of enough and discover together that for our planet, for our community, and for ourselves, peace is here. To follow my work, including the new book, Peace Stuff Enough, the entire Pedro the Water Dog Saves the Planet series, and the podcast archive, visit avaskalfsbeck.com. That's also where you can find the link to my current Kickstarter. Our music is Dalai Lama Riding a Bike by the talented Javier Peque Rodriguez. You can find links to his music on Spotify and Bandcamp in the show notes. Thank you again. Listen for the peace.